The repair bay smelled of oil and ozone, a combination that Layla had grown to love over her 15 years as a deep space mechanic. Her hands moved with practiced efficiency across the thruster assembly of a Valorian cargo hauler, fingers black with grease, mind lost in the familiar rhythm of diagnostics and repair. The station's artificial gravity hummed beneath her boots, a constant reminder that she was far from Earth, working in the forgotten corner of the Andromeda trading hub. Just another day, she muttered, wiping sweat from her brow with the back of her hand, leaving a dark smear across her forehead. The bay doors suddenly hissed open without warning. Layla didn't look up immediately. Customers rarely announced themselves properly on this backwater station. But when the temperature in the room dropped several degrees and the lights flickered, she paused. Her instincts, honed by years of survival in the unpredictable frontier of space, screamed danger. She turned slowly, wrench still in hand. Standing in the doorway was a figure that defied comprehension. Tall, impossibly so, with skin that shimmered like mother-of-pearl in the harsh workshop lights. But it was the eyes that caught her attention, crystalline white without iris or pupil, yet somehow seeing everything. The being wore robes that seemed woven from starlight itself, and atop its head rested a crown of what appeared to be ivory horns. Layla Marquez, the figure spoke, its voice resonating with harmonics that no human vocal cords could produce. "Do you remember me?" Layla's grip tightened on the wrench. Her mind raced through possibilities. Bounty hunter? Corporate assassin? Alien dignitary she'd accidentally offended? But there was something familiar about those white eyes, something that tugged at memories she'd buried deep. "I don't," she began, then stopped. A memory surfaced, 15 years old and faded like an old photograph. A crash, a planet with purple skies, something white and broken lying in the wreckage. No, that's impossible. The being stepped forward, and as it moved, its form seemed to shift, revealing glimpses of something else beneath. Scales, wings, a serpentine length. "You pulled me from the wreckage of my first ship. I was young, foolish, exploring regions of space I had no business being in. The radiation should have killed me. Would have if you hadn't dragged me into your shelter." Layla's mind reeled back to that day. She'd been part of a survey team, fresh off Earth, full of dreams about exploring the cosmos. Their shuttle had crash-landed on an uncharted planet during a solar storm. In the chaos, she'd stumbled upon another crash site, and inside a creature unlike anything in the galactic databases. It had been small then, no larger than a horse, with scales of pure white and wings torn by shrapnel. "You were dying," Layla whispered. "I gave you the last of our medical supplies. My team leader said I was crazy, that we needed them for ourselves. You stayed with me for 3 days while the storm raged. You sang songs from your homeworld. Earth songs. You told me stories about oceans and mountains and things I'd never imagined." The being's form solidified, taking on a more humanoid shape, though the otherworldly quality remained. "I am Rethuzar of the Draconian Ascendancy. What you saved was not merely a traveler, but the youngest prince of the oldest spacefaring species in this galaxy." Layla nearly dropped her wrench. The Draconian Ascendancy was legend, a civilization so ancient and advanced that they were spoken of in whispers, like gods who had retreated from galactic affairs millennia ago. They were said to have seeded dozens of worlds with life, to have created the first jump gates, to have achieved a form of existence that transcended physical form. "I don't understand," Layla said. "Why are you here? That was 15 years ago. I never expected to see you again. I didn't even know if you survived after we were rescued." Rethazar's crystalline eyes seemed to soften. "For 15 years I searched for you. In your kindness, you never asked for my name, never demanded payment or recognition. You simply helped because it was right. This is not common in the galaxy, Layla Marquez. Even among my own kind, such purity of purpose is rare. I'm just a mechanic," Layla protested, feeling suddenly small in her grease-stained coveralls. "You are more," Rethazar countered. "This is why I have come. The Draconian Ascendancy has been watching your species since you reached the stars. Humanity is young, violent, often foolish, but there is something in your kind, a resilience, a capacity for compassion even in the darkest moments that we find intriguing. You represent the best of what your species can be." The Dragon Prince reached into his robes and withdrew a small crystalline object that pulsed with inner light. "This is a navigator's core. With it, you can travel anywhere in the known galaxy instantaneously. More importantly, it grants you the right to call upon the Draconian Ascendancy once for any purpose you choose. Consider it a life debt repaid. Layla stared at the object, her mechanic's mind immediately recognizing technology far beyond anything humanity had achieved. I can't accept this. I didn't help you for a reward, which is precisely why you must accept it. Rethazar placed the core in her oil-stained hand. The crystal felt warm, alive almost. Great trials are coming to this galaxy, Layla Marquez. Humanity will face choices that will define whether your species survives to see the next age of the cosmos. When that moment comes, I believe you will know what to do. Before Layla could respond, Arthur burst through the side door of the bay, her young apprentice's face flushed with excitement. Layla, you won't believe the news the Galactic Council just announced. He stopped short, seeing the impossible figure standing before them. What in the hell? Rethazar turned to Arthur, and for a moment his form shimmered fully into his true shape. A dragon of pearl-white scales, with wings that seemed to stretch into infinity. Take care of her, young one. Humanity's future may well rest in hands such as these. Then, in a flash of light that left after images burned into their retinas, the Dragon Prince was gone. Arthur stood frozen, mouth hanging open. Layla looked down at the navigator's core in her palm, its light pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. Outside the bay windows, the stars wheeled in their eternal dance, and somewhere out there, the Draconian Ascendancy watched and waited. Layla, Arthur finally managed. What just happened? She closed her fist around the core and smiled. I think we just made a friend. And something tells me we're going to need all the friends we can get. In the distance, unknown to them, the first ships of an extragalactic invasion force crossed the barrier into the Milky Way. The trials Rethazar spoke of were already beginning. But for now, Layla returned to her thruster assembly, the core safely tucked into her pocket, and the memory of a dragon's gratitude warming her heart. After all, she was still just a mechanic. Just a human mechanic who once saved a prince, and that, as it turned out, would make all the difference.